What's up, ladies? It's Coach Steph. I am going to be doing a training on the right foods that you need to be eating for weight loss. So welcome. I have my notes up. If you're new to me, I am a registered dietitian, a trainer, and a mindset transformation coach, and I'm the host of this group and also of the Fit Figure Formula podcast and the Fit Figure Formula group coaching program. And I am going to be talking about what foods you need to be eating today. If you're watching the replay, hashtag replay in the comments and let me know that you're watching. Sometimes y'all, I really be thinking I'm on here talking to myself. But that's okay because I'm still going to show up. I know somebody listens. What's so interesting is that the ladies that sign up with me, sometimes I have never seen them. They don't ever like my posts. Never comment. So that's how I know that y'all are watching. Okay? You're watching and you're lurking and you're thinking and you're probably overthinking the application process of like, okay, is this for me? I want to invite you to join and just apply, right? So you can click the link there in the bio. You can go to fitfigureformula.com. Check out the page. You can see my client testimonials. If you go to the guides section in the Facebook group, you can also see lots of client testimonials and things. My DMs are open if you have questions about coaching with me, what that's like. I have a whole behind the scenes video I can share with you, but also answer your questions directly. The Fit Figure Formula is a 16-week macros and mindset program where I help you beat self-sabotage and lose the weight for good. What does that mean? That means that I'm going to help you with your mindset and I'm going to help you with your macros. This is going to help you give you so much more freedom with your food. You're going to be way more confident about what to put on your plate. You're going to feel better. The scale's going to go down. Your A1C is going to get better. You're going to stop having the sugar cravings and you're going to lose weight even if you're in menopause. So most of my clients are 40 plus. So I always say, like, I help female perfectionists who grew up on 90s music beat self-sabotage and lose the weight for good. So those of us who grew up like mostly 80s, 90s, we're in that phase. I'm also 42 as well. And dealing with perimenopause symptoms starting to creep up. This live is not about supplementation, but I'm telling you, get some creatine. It helped me so much with my brain. Talk to your doctor first, of course. But today, what I'm going to talk about is the foods that you should be eating. Inside of the formula, I walk you through this process step by step every single solitary day. So you have 2 opportunities to get coached throughout the week, Mondays and Thursdays, 7 p.m. CST. And then we have, you have access to me in between our calls every day. I also give you a blueprint and I tell you exactly what to do every single day so that you can reach your goals. I help you with time management, negative self-talk, putting yourself first, setting boundaries, loving yourself more. This is a lifestyle transformation program. So if you're tired of dieting, tired of losing the same 10 to 15 pounds all the time, tired of being confused about what to eat because you're just cutting out stuff and focusing on what not to eat, the Fit Figure Formula is probably right for you, but you won't know unless you book a call. In the pinned comment, you can book a call. That's the application process. You literally answer a few questions. You put on your call on my schedule. If you book a call, don't you dare not show up. Okay? I've had a couple of those happen and I'm just like, y'all, I am a small business. Like, if you are not going to make it, just cancel the call. Okay? Just cancel it. It's okay. It's part of business. You're going to cancel it. It's fine. But I want you to show up for yourself. I'm here to help you, right? I'm literally here to help you. So if you have questions, let me know. If you've been confused about what to eat, I'm going to help you out today. If you want implementation, because information is not transformation, right? Like, all this information is on the internet. If you want implementation and for me to help you transform your lifestyle, then you should join the Fit Figure Formula. Okay. Actually, you get $350 off. I forgot to tell you. There is a $350 promotion going on right now, meaning that you get $350 off of the program. And then if you are an alumni, I want to say it's like $50 off the membership, off the original price of the membership. So, all right, let's get into today's live. If you have any questions about what to eat, let me know. I'm going to make sure I see myself in the live. Facebook does not like to let y'all know that I'm live, though. I don't like that. So I'm going to see if I can tag. Okay. So, number one thing that you want to be eating, if you want to lose weight. So this is for if you want to lose weight, if you want to decrease your cravings for sweets. Hi, Paula. If you want to lower your A1C, you want to improve your blood pressure. Every tip that I'm going to give today is going to help you. If you have questions, Paula, if you have any questions, put it in the chat. If you want to tell me what is the hardest part of this, right? Because a lot of us know like certain things that are healthy, but like what's the hardest part of putting this all together? Again, this is what I help you do inside the formula, but it really takes time for you to plan the things, and that needs to be on your calendar. So first thing that I would tell you is that you need to be prioritizing single ingredient foods. Things that don't necessarily come with a label on them. So if you think about Cheez-Its, right? Or even like boxed pizza or whatever, you turn it over, there's a label on it, and it has all of these lists of ingredients, these lists of like additives, preservatives, these other chemicals that might be in it to make it more shelf stable. And it has lots of ingredients. We want to be choosing most of the time single ingredient foods. So the way that you want to approach this, I don't want you to take this advice and try to start eating all single ingredient whole foods starting today, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks. Too much, right? So inside of the formula, I help you, and this is the way that I do it. I just take breakfast for a week and we just prioritize breakfast. Then the next week we do lunch. Then the next week we do dinner. Then the next week we put it all together. And then I give you your macros and we put that on repeat, okay? So single ingredient whole foods look like avocado, apple, egg, chicken, sweet potatoes, spinach, right? Like things that you can get off the tree, out of the vine, or off the vine, out of the ground, right? Real food, okay? So most of our food needs to look like that. So I'm going to give you some examples. Like for breakfast, one of my favorite, avocado toast. So obviously bread, right? Bread has multiple ingredients, right? Most of us are not making our own bread. I know I'm not. So that's going to be one where that's more of a processed food. But my guideline for bread, if you've ever worked with me before, you know is 3 grams of fiber or more per serving on the label. So if you're picking a carbohydrate, okay, a carbohydrate, we focus on 3 types of carbs in my program. We focus on whole fruits, whole vegetables, and then whole grains with 3 grams of fiber or more per serving. So a whole fruit is the difference between eating an apple versus applesauce, right? Applesauce is basically the same thing as an apple, but your body has to work harder to process this apple. You have to chew, your body has to extract the nutrients and really break it down. In applesauce, a lot of that process has already been done for you. Why does that matter? If it's the same thing, it matters because there's something called the thermic effect of food. The thermic effect of food is part of your metabolism, right? So inside of the formula, I'm focusing on helping you lose fat, not just lose weight, but lose fat specifically while protecting your metabolism. This is very important for us ladies 40 plus, okay? I need you to be listening. It's very important because you do not just want to cut your calories super low to lose weight and you're losing muscle, and that's why the scale's going down. That is going to send you in the wrong direction. So if you have ever dieted and done something very restrictive like keto or 1,200 calorie diets, etc., and you lost weight and you were so excited, and then all of a sudden 6 months down the line, year down the line, you gained weight, and you're like, dang, I gained that weight and I'm not even eating a lot. And it's like, oh, you're decreasing your metabolism every time you do that. So if you have been a chronic yo-yo dieter and you've lost a whole bunch of weight and you haven't been like prioritizing keeping that muscle, it's going to get harder and harder and harder. Then that compounds by the fact that you're in perimenopause and your hormones are going like this, and it's making you less resistant or less resilient to stress. And it's a race to the bottom. Okay. So we want to be eating that single ingredient whole foods. Why? Because that's going to increase my thermic burn. I'm going to burn more calories just by eating a whole apple versus applesauce. Right? So then think about a Cheez-It, right? A Cheez-It starts to break down immediately in your mouth. You can eat a Cheez-It. It's going to extract the calories from it. It doesn't really have any nutrients. The calories from it, but it's not going to have to burn very many calories to break down the Cheez-It, right? So you're going to get the calories in your body, but you're not going to feel satisfied because it doesn't really have nutrients or fiber. And you can eat a large volume without feeling like you really ate anything. Have you ever had that before? I do that a lot with even pizza from Domino's, like thin crust. My son, my daughter, I can eat the whole pizza, and you feel like, how did I eat that whole pizza? And I don't feel like I ate much. That's because this manufactured food is meant to break down quickly so that you consume more of it. Okay. So that is why we want to be picking single ingredient whole foods. Y'all let me know. Is this making sense? Comment yes if that's making sense. I want to make sure that y'all understand. Let me know if you have any questions about anything I'm saying too. So we're picking whole single ingredient foods. That's automatically going to help your metabolism. It's going to help you burn more calories just by eating. Okay. So we're picking the whole apple versus applesauce or a Cheez-It, right? So that was an example of the types of carbs that you want to pick, right? We're picking a whole fruit or a whole vegetable, or if your carbohydrate like bread, pasta, tortillas, muffin, English muffin, something like that, has a label on it, we want to be picking something that has 3 grams of fiber or more per serving. So turn your tortillas, your rice, your oatmeal, your bread over. Look at the label. It should say 3 grams of fiber or more per serving on the label. That's one of the first things that I do with my clients inside the formula. One of the first things that we start practicing is making sure that the carbs that you pick are either a whole fruit, a whole vegetable, or a whole grain with 3 grams of fiber or more. I do not care if the label at the front of the box says 8 grams of whole grain. I don't care. Okay. I just want you to pick. Turn it over. Don't look at the front. That's for entertainment. Look at the nutrition facts. It's going to say dietary fiber, and you're looking for 3 grams of fiber or more. And you're looking for that. These are your carbohydrate items. Don't go to, a fat item or meat or something like that and look for 3 grams of fiber or more, because it's not going to be on there because that's not a carb food. Okay. And how do we know? Speaking of macros, how do we know what's a carb and what's a fat? Some of my clients don't know how to tell. So number one, I give you a list, right? And to help you categorize it until you understand it. But if it has a label on it, the only way we get calories is by protein, carbs, and fat, y'all. Besides alcohol, right? Like in our food, we have protein, we have carbs, and we have fat. If the fat grams is higher than the carbs and the protein, then it's a fat. We categorize it as a fat, even if it has a little bit of the other 2 macros, right? So let me give you a good example of this. When I hear sausage, I automatically think fat, right? But it depends on what kind of sausage. So for example, if you're picking pork or beef sausage, it's going to give you a good amount of protein, great. but it actually has more fat than protein. So we would categorize that as a fat that has a little bit of protein in it. Versus if you're choosing chicken sausage or like turkey sausage, it's going to have more protein than fat. So we would categorize that as a protein and not fat. So that's a little distinguishing. Like you have to understand, like sausage is not sausage. The beef and pork sausage is going to have more fat in it than protein. So that's just something to know, right? So single ingredient foods, right? So that's my first tip. I went off on a tangent. So we want to be picking single ingredient foods. Okay. So an example, I said bread, right? So it's, avocado toast, right? Your bread is going to be a processed food. And like I said, we want mostly single ingredient food. So your toast, 3 grams of fiber or more per serving. Your avocado is a single ingredient food, right? And you can season that up however you like. I like to put everything bagel seasoning on mine and a little bit of lemon juice. And then if you want to put eggs on top of that, it's one of my favorite breakfasts. So that's an example. I have been loving for lunch or dinner the viral TikTok sweet potato bowl with the ground beef, sweet potato. Now I've seen the sweet potato done 2 ways: roasting it, chopping it up and roasting it in the oven, or just baking the sweet potato whole and cutting it and then putting the ground beef in. I actually like the roasted one better, like when you chop it up, but you can do it either way. Some people put cottage cheese. I've been putting feta. I did like wilted spinach or sauteed spinach, some cilantro because I put cilantro on everything, and avocado, right? So this is an example of a bowl that is made up of different single ingredient foods to make your one plate, right? So that's an example. Another really easy example is salmon, some sort of potato or rice, and then you can do broccoli. I love like Parmesan broccoli, balsamic Brussels sprouts, example, right? So again, we have a protein, we have a fiber-filled carb. Your fat can either be something like avocado or the oil that you're cooking your stuff in, okay? I like avocado oil. That's just my personal preference. So we want to be choosing single ingredient whole foods most of the time, which means that you are going to have to plan. And it does not mean that you have to prep and eat the same thing every day. Because I think that people think I have to eat the same thing every day if I'm going to prep, and that's not true. What I tell my clients is if you're going to plan one time per week, you're going to pick 3 days of foods. That means breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snack, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snack. And maybe your breakfast is the same. I know a lot of clients who like don't care about breakfast. They can just eat the same thing for breakfast. And then maybe your lunches and dinners are different. But if you can eat this one twice, this one twice, this one twice, that gets you to 6 days, flex the 7th day, right? That means that I'm eating something, that I'm eating it just one more time, and then I'm switching it up. So you're not really getting bored, but you're not burning out either. That's really important. I don't want you to think that I need to plan 7 different days, 7 different breakfasts, 7 different lunches, 7 different dinners. This is why you're burning out. This is why you don't like to meal prep. And you need to be picking foods that you actually enjoy eating. That's really important. Okay. This healthy food. A lot of y'all said like, I don't like health food. It doesn't taste good. I'm like, I'm thoroughly enjoying my food. So I'm thinking like when you go out to eat, like if you're going, I don't know, to Whataburger or wherever you're eating, I can make that same burger at home, right? I will literally plan in a burger at home. I use lean or extra lean ground beef. I don't use turkey. I know that that's like the healthy, like whatever. I don't like turkey meat. I'm not supposed to eat no turkey meat, okay? I am going to have either lean or extra lean ground beef and season it up, make my patties. This is such an easy thing. Like you can do chicken burgers, you can do regular burgers, make you some homemade fries or some Parmesan broccoli or whatever vegetable you want to put with it. But your meal prep doesn't have to be salads. Like I'm not a salad girl at all. Somebody asked me yesterday, oh, you want to eat a salad? I'm like, girl, no, I do not want a salad. I don't. I mean, it's okay, but if I'm really hungry, I don't want a salad. That's just me. And if I do have a salad, it has to have like a lot of good stuff in it. I don't even need no lettuce, honestly. I eat more of like bowls, okay? So single ingredient whole foods, salmon, almonds, sweet potato, apple, avocado, things like that. These increase your thermic effect of food and automatically increase your metabolism by eating single ingredient whole foods. I hope y'all are getting this. Let me know if this is making sense. Okay. I see some comments. Great information. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Welcome to the group. Hey Paula. Hey Erica. Okay, cool. So in this case, we want to pick 80-20 rule, right? So like I gave you the example of the avocado toast. The bread is a processed food, but then the avocado and the eggs are whole single ingredient foods. This by itself is a game changer, okay? Number 2, we want to be picking high protein foods, right? So a lot of my clients, when they first start tracking or we're coming in, we're trying to get a baseline. This is one of the things that I think nobody really does. And this is one of the most important things that you can do when you start a program. You don't want to just pick a calorie level off of an equation. You want to see how many calories am I already eating? So what we do in the first few weeks is gather data on what am I already eating. And most of the time, y'all are eating between 70 and 100 grams of protein, which is fine for general health, right? Like if you just, it's fine. But if you want muscles, right? You want to look like you work out. You want to increase your metabolism because protein has the highest thermic effect of food. So when I was saying earlier, eating the whole apple versus applesauce automatically increases your calorie burn throughout the day. Protein has the most or the highest thermic effect of food. So this means just by eating more protein, I'm going to be burning more calories just by eating more protein. Now, you have to be careful with this, okay? So there's a lot of protein talk right now on the internet. Protein and fat in nature go hand in hand typically. So you don't want to just willy-nilly add protein because guess what you're also adding? You're also adding fat, which can take you out of your calorie deficit. So if you wanted to increase, let's say you're eating 1,800 calories, right? Let's say that that's a deficit for you, which I have lots of clients on that calorie level that are seeing results at 1,800 calories, right? They're not eating 1,200 calories. 1,800 calories. Let's say that's what you're having right now, but you're eating too low protein. If you bump up your protein, you're going to have to decrease either your fat or your carbs. Because if you just take your calorie level where you're at and you're like, oh, I need more protein. So you add more protein. Now you're outside your calorie deficit because you added more protein and probably added more fat. So you would have to bump down your carbs and your fat a little bit to add that protein. So again, this is why I think it's so important for you to understand your food and your macros. My clients, I do not give them meal plans. I teach them how to do this and they're doing it on their own. And they understand it because it's not hard. Okay. So having more protein. My second tip is eating enough protein, right? With the understanding that I still need to be eating in a calorie deficit. So what does this mean? Typically, protein at breakfast and protein at snacks are historically low. Y'all are getting like 10, maybe 20 grams of protein. If that, because snacks, y'all are just eating carbs, pretty much. This means that I'm going to try to eat more volume of protein and I'm going to try to scoot that protein up throughout the day. So that means my breakfast, I want to hit around 30 grams of protein for a breakfast. This is a skill to do because most people are not hitting that. And so it really just requires like adopting some go-to meals and doing some simple swaps, right? So I grew up on like Yoplait yogurt, right? And I don't even know how many calories that had or how many grams of protein, but just swapping that out with something like ratio protein. Have y'all tried that at the store? Love it. There's two kinds. One has 25 grams of protein in a serving, which is crazy, and it's still pretty yummy. And then the other kind has 20 grams, but also 10 grams of fiber, which is crazy. So if you're struggling with fiber, that's a good option. And a lot of y'all, again, once you increase your protein, you start getting constipated. And it's not necessarily because protein constipates you. It's because you're focused on protein and now your fiber drops by a lot. Because fiber comes from plants. It doesn't come from meat, right? So, what was I saying? So we're adding more protein within the compounds of your calorie deficit. And we're also having that balance. So when you eat protein, breakfast, 30 grams. We want to shoot for your snack at 30 grams too. Those are the two meal times that I would recommend trying to increase your protein. So what does that look like? Cottage cheese, Greek yogurt, Strive beef jerky, beans. I love a bean. Okay. Black beans with some salsa. Love it. Let's see, lentils if you like lentils. There's protein pasta. Now, I personally don't like the Bonza pasta, but the Barilla one, I think I like that one if I'm going to do pasta. There's Quest chips. Again, that's processed food, but you can have that sometimes. If you're going to do breakfast in the morning, this is one of the reasons why people do egg whites, because the egg white itself is all protein. The egg yolk is what has the fat and the cholesterol. Now, is it okay to eat egg yolk? Yes. However, again, we want to be watching our calories, and the higher up you're trying to go with your protein within your calorie level, the leaner your protein sources are going to be. The leaner just means less fat. So instead of having 2 eggs, I might have 1 whole egg and then like 2 or 3 egg whites, because I can have more volume. It actually gives me more protein, and it'll be the same or less calories. Okay. So we want to focus on increasing your protein within your calorie deficit, especially for breakfast and snacks. I feel like I said a lot there. Y'all let me know if you have questions. Let me see. Yes. Okay. So single ingredient foods automatically going to increase your thermic effect of food, having a little bit more protein within your calorie deficit. Eating healthy fat. So the first thing that I do with clients when we start working on our breakfast formula is having a healthy fat. Number 1, if you have a healthy fat like avocado, chia seeds, flax seeds, pumpkin seeds, hemp seeds, this is going to help you with your fiber. Okay, it's going to give you a little bit of protein because those things do have protein except for avocado. But it's going to help you with your fiber goal. It's going to add some calories. Now, healthy fat and unhealthy fat, same amount of calories. Okay, so this is why if you're going to track anything or measure anything, you want to make sure that it's the fat and carbs usually. Like, you just make sure. Because even like 1 tablespoon of avocado oil is like 120, 110 calories per tablespoon. So if you're doing that breakfast, lunch, dinner, and you're not accounting for that, that's over 300 something calories every day for the week. And that's just a lot of extra calories that you didn't count, right? So healthy fat, especially if it's something that you can chew, right? Like the chia seeds, like the avocado, is going to help you with your fiber goal. It's also going to be anti-inflammatory, and a lot of us are very inflamed from eating too many processed foods, from eating too much sugar, right? And so I don't focus my clients on taking away sugar. I never tell them not to do that. We don't even talk about what not to eat. We focus on what to add to your diet. I'm going to add healthy fat. I'm going to add protein. I'm going to add single ingredient foods. And before you know it, you're like, oh man, I haven't had any Reese's Pieces in a whole week or 2, right? It's like, oh, I didn't even think about it, because you're going to be so well fed. My clients are well fed. Okay. We eat. They are not hungry. we're not sitting around hungry, because when you get enough fiber and you get enough protein, you're going to be well fed. And then you can say no easily to the cupcake, because it's like, yeah, I'm full, you know? So you want to be sure that you're adding that healthy fat. Now, I will say, first 3 weeks of my program, I'm giving you very simple formulas. For example, a healthy fat, a fiber-filled carb with 3 grams of fiber or more, and a protein. And adding in that healthy fat. Once we get to the macro portion, a lot of my clients will stop adding the healthy fat. And I have to say, hey, remember, we need a healthy fat. We want to start off with that baseline formula, and then you can add to that. But again, that's going to help you with your fiber goal. It's going to help you meet your calorie goal. For those of you who are not eating enough calories, healthy fat's the way to go, because it still has a lot of calories per volume, but it's healthy, it's anti-inflammatory, and it's heart and brain protective. Okay, so do not forget, add a little chia seeds to those. You can add to anything, salads, smoothies. What was I gonna say? Oh, yogurt. Okay. What else? Yeah, most people only get half of the fiber that they need. And we track our fiber in the formula. So we don't just track protein. Fiber is very important, especially if you have diabetes or you're pre-diabetic. You need to be getting 25, right? That's a minimum, 25 grams of fiber. Most of y'all are getting like 14-ish. Okay. So fiber goal is another one. So that leads me to my third point. High fiber foods, right? Fiber comes from plants. Again, if y'all have questions, please put them in the comments. Fiber comes from plants. So we want to be adding in single ingredient, fresh fruits and vegetables. So when I'm evaluating a client's plan, you have my eyes on your nutrition plan weekly, right? So you ask for feedback. Hey, I'm done with my plan. Let me know what this looks like. And any recommendations. So you have a registered dietitian looking at what you're eating every single day. I'm looking at the fiber. I'm looking to see, are there any vegetables here? Are there any whole single ingredient fruits? Is there healthy fat? So things like kale, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, snow peas, spinach, cabbage, quinoa, sweet potatoes, white potatoes. You can't have white potatoes, y'all. I don't know why people act like you can't have anything white. White potatoes are fine. Mangoes, grapes, bananas, right? We want to be looking for 3 grams of fiber or more on our carbohydrates that have labels on them. I mentioned that earlier. So your English muffins, your bread, your waffles, your pancakes, you want to be making sure that they have 3 grams of fiber or more per serving. And then you just want to evaluate your plan. Right? So when you plan your week, you're looking at your plan to see, do I have fiber-filled foods? Are most of my foods single ingredient whole foods? Do I have fruits and vegetables? Do I have some healthy fats in here? Okay. Pinterest is my favorite way. Sometimes when people come into this group and I'm like, what's holding you back? And I'm like, I need some healthy recipes. I'm like, there's no way that that's the problem, because that is an easy fix. You can go online, right? And you can pick a recipe. And here's where perfectionists overcomplicate it. It doesn't have to be the healthiest of the healthiest, the most low calorie, the most low carb thing that you can find, because one recipe does not make or break your entire day anyway. Again, this is why I teach macros, so that I can empower you. People will be like, hey, you're a dietitian. Tell me, can I have this in a day? Is this okay to have? And I'm like, sure. What else are you having throughout the day, right? That's what matters most. How much fiber are you getting throughout the day? How much sugar are you getting throughout the day? How much protein are you getting throughout the day? Yeah, this one thing might be a high sugar item. But if the rest of your food is fresh fruits and vegetables and lean protein, then you can probably incorporate this. My clients plan in their treats. After they hit their protein and fiber, and as long as they have some calories left, they can add in a treat. So empowering yourself to understand your nutrition, is going to be the best way for you to be confident about what you're putting on your plate, because there's not one thing that you cannot have. So it's not like, oh, you have to eat avocados to be healthy, or you have to eat salads to be healthy. It's like, no, if you understand your macros, you can fit in anything. That gives you so much more freedom, and you're not living from a set of rules of what to do and what not to do, because you understand it. Okay. So we talked about single ingredient foods. We talked about adding healthy fat, adding protein, adding high fiber foods, and then water. Simple. Okay. Water is so important. Your body needs H2O to break down fat. So it's called lipolysis. Lipolysis, you need H2O. Half of your body weight in water is a good goal for most people. Now, if you have a lot of weight to lose, half of your body weight is like a lot. So you can do half of your ideal body weight or your desired body weight, okay? But have your water bottles around. A lot of times when I'm helping a client increase their water, I'm like, okay, do you have a certain water that, like a water bottle that you normally use? I'm like, okay, yes, this is the one I use, but I usually drink like half of this. I'm like, okay, let's start off with the goal being one whole bottle. And we start off with incremental increases so that you're not trying to do too much. But you want to have this, you want to visually cue yourself. When I have this on my desk, you see it's empty right now, I drink all of it. I'm going to drink more water. When I don't have this, or when my daughter has stolen it, I have an 18-year-old who takes all of my stuff. And I can't find it. I hardly drink any water, and I love water. So I'm like looking for my bottle, right? So you want to make sure that you have a bottle that you love on your desk at work, in your car. Like, visually cue yourself around the house to make sure you're drinking enough water, because this is something that you need for fat breakdown. You can prep water, right? Like this is something you can get your kids to help you do too. Like, okay, you maybe have 3 water bottles, fill them all up at the beginning of the week. That could be your prep, right? Start out really small. I'm going to make sure I have 3 of these filled up and in the refrigerator, and then like bag up some snacks. That could be your first prep for the week. Okay. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. Start early. The earlier you can start with water, the better. I personally chug water. That's just me. I only like ice cold water, but you might like room temperature water from a straw. I've heard a lot of my clients say that a straw will help them drink more water. Whatever works, great, right? But the earlier you start, the easier it'll be to hit your goal, number one, and also the less you'll pee at night, because I know a lot of us are waking up in the middle of the night. We can't sleep all night. So you'll be able to cut it off a little bit earlier, the earlier that you start. So first thing in the morning, drink some water, get your walk in. That right there, getting your water in and taking a 10-minute walk in the morning is going to change the game. Now, when you start doing that, guess what you're going to do? You're going to get hungrier. You're going to get hungry. And this is actually a good sign. My clients that come to me and they're like, I'm never hungry. I'm like, that's not a good sign. The only reason we're hungry is because of a hormone called ghrelin. Ghrelin makes you feel hungry. And I want you to be feeling hungry throughout the day. So my people who don't get hungry until 1 o'clock, you probably have taught your body not to be hungry until 1. And we had to retrain that to push your calories up throughout the day, so that dinner is not your biggest meal of the day and you're going to bed. Breakfast is your biggest, heaviest, most caloric, and then you're titrating down from there, because you're going to be moving. We're going to be strength training. We're going to be walking, taking some steps throughout the day. You're going to be utilizing that those calories, and it's going to make your body feel hungrier. But I'm not just going to leave you hungry. We're going to eat enough protein. We're going to get enough fiber. We're going to drink enough water, and you're going to feel satisfied throughout the day. And as soon as you start feeling a little bit hungry, oh, it's already time for my snack, or it's already time for dinner. Okay. So you can do cold water, infused water, sparkling water, have it in multiple places in your house. Start early, shoot for half your body weight in water. Okay. So eating healthy does not have to be hard. It does not have to be overwhelming. It does not have to be boring, but it does not have to burn you out either. So if you joined halfway through this live, definitely go back and listen to the beginning, where I talked about picking 3 items days, and then eating this one twice, this one twice, this one twice, that gets you to 6 days. Some of you need to plan twice a week. Some of you don't like to plan too far in advance, and that's fine. Inside the formula, I give you 3 options. Another option that's pretty popular with a lot of my clients is planning just for 3 days at a time. So they might do like a Saturday and a Wednesday maybe, and they're planning for the next 3 days, and then they'll plan again so that it gives them a little bit more control, so they don't have to plan too far in advance. But it does require more commitment to planning because you're planning twice, right? And then the third option is typically planning the day before each day. I have a lot of clients who feel like, they're busy. They don't want to plan like too far in advance, or like, okay, I'll just do it the night before every day. That works too, right? So this is a lifestyle transformation program. It's not about me telling you what to eat because that's what I like or that's what worked for my last client. It's about breaking it down to customize, like you're the one that's customizing it, right? And which is great because then you get to be empowered to do that on your own. One of my clients just asked me, she's like, oh, can I get a certification? Which I'm going to tell her that was a great idea. Like a certificate of completion, because she has finished the Fit Figure formula. She lost like 20 or 22 pounds, and she's off-boarded now, but she keeps messaging me like, hey, I really loved the formula. This really changed my life. And I'm like, that's what it's supposed to do. This is a lifestyle transformation program. You're paying for what you learn in 16 weeks that you can take with you forever. This is not a program where you're going to sign up, lose weight real quick, and then have no idea how to maintain this. Okay. That's a pet peeve of mine. I absolutely hate that. People doing counting points and things. It's just like, okay, cool. But do you know how to eat for real? Like without restriction? My clients do. And I want to help you too. If you need to lose weight, if you're in menopause, if you have been struggling with the same 10 or 15 pounds, if you have night cravings, it's a telltale sign you're not eating enough protein or fiber. If you have emotional eating, if you are constantly beating yourself up and you have, difficulty with self-esteem and self-love, I would love to take you on a self-love journey inside the formula. We're going to master your mindset. We talk about self-sabotage, fear of failure, fear of success, our own personal thoughts. It's you, right? I always tell my clients, you're the problem, but you're also the solution. And you are also the opportunity. And I want to be the problem because I'm the only thing that I can fix. If the problem is outside of me, I'm screwed because I can't fix anything else or anybody else. But if I have to work on myself, that's the best thing that I could ever do. I got to work on my mindset, my deep beliefs, my skill and my knowledge. Perfect, because I trust myself, right? And I want you to trust yourself as well. Go to fitfigureformula.com to look at more of the site and the client testimonials, or you can just click the link right there in the pinned comments and you can apply to work with me. And what we'll do is get on a no pressure call. I'll get to know you a little bit better. I'm going to ask you a lot of questions about your history and make sure that it's a good fit. And then we can decide if it is a right next step for us to work together. Okay. All right, y'all. I said a lot. I feel like I really need some water. Let me know if this was helpful. Did y'all get anything out of this? Let me know. What's your biggest takeaway? What did you learn? Even if you're watching the replay, type it in. What did you learn from this live? What topic would you like me to cover next? I'm going live tomorrow as well. If you're in the area, I am doing a speaking engagement tomorrow. I'll post it if you're in San Antonio area. If you haven't watched the Fit Figure Formula podcast, what are you waiting for? Fit Figure Formula podcast. There's so many good nuggets in the Fit Figure Formula podcast. You can look at that on YouTube, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Okay. Let me see if there's any questions. My DMs are open. If y'all ever have questions, ideally, if it's like a general question, obviously you can put it in the chat or in the group itself. And then if you have a specific question about coaching or you want to talk through anything, my DMs are open. So I will see y'all on the next one. yeah, let me know your biggest takeaway.